Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to put a motion up to the council to hold this MLGW physical consent for 2 weeks. And the reason I'm doing this, council members, is I had a neighbor in my district as long as 1 month ago made multiple requests to MLGW because they've got a whole street that doesn't have lights. They didn't get anywhere after multiple requests with MLGW. The neighborhood group then contacted myself, Councilman Spinoza, Councilman Conrad. And over the past 2 weeks, I have been unable to get their lights turned back on. So it's not very important for MLGW to get street lights turned on in my community. So I would like to hold their fiscal consent until they can get my street lights on in my community, because it's unacceptable. I've had multiple neighbors that are mad at me now. And quite frankly, if I can't get street lights turned on up here, there's no point in me being on this council.
Without objection?
No objection.
And the street is Allison.
No objection.
Was that an objection or? All right. Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth. It's been seconded by Councilman Ford, and we'll go to Councilman Full-Love.
Thank you so very much. I understand Councilman Hedgepeth's frustration with Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, because I'm frustrated with them every time they do something. But Councilman Hedgepeth, doesn't this look rather? I mean, I'm going to vote with what you're doing, because I was going to ask something to be held too about the bond issue. But isn't this kind of like, I won't give you your candy because you won't give me my ice cream cone?
Councilman Fully Love, I don't know what else to do, because I've made multiple requests and emails.
Gotcha.
And I don't know what else to do.
Okay.
And if somebody in your district wants something as simple as their street lights on and they can't get it done for you, I would give you the same respect to hold whatever you want to hold.
Thank you so much, and I certainly support you in this. But let me ask you something, Mr. Chair. Even though Councilman Hedgepeth is asking that we hold this for 2 weeks, there won't be a discussion on any of these items today at all, just 2 weeks from now. Okay. Thank you. I support you, Mr. Hedgepeth, and I just...
All right, so there's no objection then, right, Councilman Full-Love? Okay, without objection, we'll hold that for 2 weeks. Please call item number 19. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
And so I just want to say that, Ms. Hedgepeth, remember this when we deal with this bond issue in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Accept my apologies, Councilman.
Okay.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Mr. Chair.
Please call item 19.
Item number 19.
Oh, hold on.
19.
You got to get the cue on the screen.
Yeah.
Then I won't miss you. Councilman Jones.
Yeah, I have it. I was going to ask that we hear from Mr. Collins, and if we are going to withhold this for 2 weeks, there's still something that I just distributed to you guys that I wanted to have on the record if we were still going to be holding this.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Director Collins.
My apologies.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Are you objecting to the item, or are you just?
No, I'm not objecting to the item. Right? No, I just
okay.
No, I'm not objecting to the item.
I was objecting, but I'm not.
So if there's nothing on the floor to speak to, then right?
Well, if there is I am raising the objection to it, but I would like to hear from Mr. Collins first. But I still probably would support holding it for 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so there's been an objection. It can be withdrawn, but we'll hear from Director Collins. Director Collins.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My apologies to Councilman Hedgepeth. If a street light is out because of a bulb or a photocell, it's a quick fix. Usually takes a few days. But if it's an underground cable situation, that's a whole different story. The Allison job is a underground cable replacement. It's about a 5-day job. And we've always said if it's underground cable, then the wait time for that's going to be about 30 days, and that's about what it's been for this job. So it's not in an unusual situation. It's just that underground cable replacements take a long time.
Okay. Councilman Jones has the floor, then I'll come to Councilman Hedgepeth.
Well, no, I'll yield to
Councilman Hedgepeth.
President Collins, if it took me this long to get street lights on in my business, I wouldn't have a business. And there has not been any trucks out there working on it. If they were out there working on it to get it fixed, I would not have one issue. But when I've got a whole neighborhood group that is yelling at me because they don't have street lights on, that's unacceptable. Y'all have got plenty of trucks, and you can get trucks out there and get it fixed. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I know that MLGW is going to come back to us in a couple of weeks. What I've distributed to you, I requested information regarding the previous bond deals that MLGW has had. And so I would ask that you review the information here. Over the past, since 2008, MLGW has issued $641 million worth of bonds. The professional services associated with that issuance has totaled about $4.2 million. When we look at the percentage of minority underwriters in this issue, or over these three issues, the participation has been about 10.2%. But when we look at the professional services, it has only been 286,000, or less than 7% of that. So I've provided this information to my to my colleagues, to essentially say I'm going to request a 2 weeks continuance, and I would ask for your indulgence too if when MLGW comes back and there are not more, or if there aren't greater participation numbers for professional services for black-owned businesses here in Memphis. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. We can go to Councilor Wade.
Mr. Chairman, to speak to Councilman Jones' issue, items 14, 15, and 16 were placed on the fiscal consent erroneously. They should have been placed on the regular agenda and sent through committee. And at the MLGW committee, you can articulate your concerns with more time and more detail at that time. That's where I suggest that we go with that. Excuse me?
Yeah, but they're not supposed to be on down here the same day they're in committee.
They're not supposed to be on our agenda, though. Yeah. I didn't. Well, I understand, and that's not my mistake either. I was advised that they were placed on the consent agenda. They should be on the regular agenda, even if they went through committee.
Okay.
But let Councilwoman Robinson speak to it as her committee.
Councilman Robinson.
Thank you. The MLGW committee met today, and we did review those three items, the bond issues. At the end of our session, I asked the staff and the committee members if we needed to move it downstairs. We were told that Mr. Collins said they were already on the agenda and we didn't have to move it in. And that's why I called the attorney to find out how do we properly move this downstairs, because it should not have been on the fiscal agenda. It should be on our regular agenda.
Thank you very much. Councilman Hedgepeth, did you want to speak or?
No, he's done.
Okay. All right. Well, I think so. In 2 weeks, we'll have these on the regular agenda. We can also have it back in committee, Councilman Jones, again, if you'd like. And then the consent agenda will be back before us in 2 weeks. Please call item 19.
Item number 19.